Welcome to the Shreveport Connection. This is Tommy. This video is on your TNA Impact spoilers. And also some news. Spike TV representative issued a statement to pwtorch.com on Monday indicating that there are ongoing negotiations between the company and TNA. Earlier, Dixie Carter tweeted something similar. He was hoping both parties are being honest, that they would indicate that there is still a chance that TNA could retain its spot on Spike TV. I do have a question why it took so long for both parties to comment publicly on the matter. I also would wonder what Spike TV would want to keep hope alive for TNA fans rather than making it seem like the next few months of TV are lame duck. Obviously, we'll continue to pass along additional information. TMZ also reported that on Sunday night that Spike TV had canceled Impact, but the website had yet to release a follow-up story. Spike TV has canceled TNA Impact's wrestling TV show, according to a report by TMZ.com. Impact will continue to air on Spike TV through October. So, the results I'm posting will be until the ending of the probably TV, which is the end of towards the middle of September. They haven't done any October tapings yet. .net members were informed on Friday night, this past Friday, by the members forum that there were rumors amongst other sources that Spike TV had informed TNA they would not be bringing back Impact. It remains to be seen whether TNA can find another network partner or if this is the end of the road as far as cable television is concerned for TNA in the United States. But there are other TV networks overseas that play on Saturday night. So I think they play Impact on Saturday night. Obviously, without a cable TV deal in the United States, there will be many questions about the future of TNA as a whole, only in the United States. TNA is currently taped through September 25th, like I was just stating earlier. They have taped all episodes that are set to air under their current contract with Spike TV, which expires at the end of September. And the September 25th episode will be No Surrender and could end up as being TNA's final episode on Spike ever. And also, breaking news, Alberto Del Rio's WWE release was a hot topic backstage at the TNA tapings from this past Wednesday. As it's now Wednesday when I'm doing this, the results. Took me a while to get the Friday's results on the whole thing, to do the whole kit and caboodle. As Alberto's release, so they're hoping that he would be hired very soon, as he's already competing in other companies as of this coming Sunday in Mexico with the AAA promotion. Well, TNA Vice President of Talent Relations John Gerbeck announced that from Twitter, TNA has signed Chris Melendez, a former Army sergeant who lost his leg in an IED explosion with only 23 days left in his deployment. He joined T3D Academy in 2012. TNA classified the deal on ImpactWrestling.com as a multi-year deal. I think it's like 2 years. Melendez is pictured with a prosthetic leg, so this isn't a repeat of Zach Gowen. I hope this kid is cool. Too many people will be lined up to call this a desperate publicity stunt by TNA for him to have a success if he is just good for something or good for someone with a missing leg. I hope he can shut down the irrational critics before they can even get started. Ryan Ryder interviewed Mr. Anderson this past week at TNA Impact tapings in New York City. The interview can be heard at maineventradio.com. And here are the highlights. Looking at his time in TNA, I've enjoyed every moment of it. I've continued to travel all over the world, meet the greatest fans in the world, wrestle the greatest talents in the world. Championship gold is always on my mind. That being said, one of my big priorities is always entertaining people, going out there and telling them a story and just having fun. This is one of the coolest jobs anybody can ever hope for. Anytime that I start to feel aches or pains, tired for traveling, I just got back from the UK, so I'm jet lagged. When I start to feel sort of sorry for myself, I remember how damn cool this job is. I feel like $1,000,000 right now, maybe 1,000,001. And he talks about tapings at the Hammerstein Ballroom. It's phenomenal. There's so much history in the building. The fans here turn it up to a level that we don't see in many other places. Every once in a while, you'll run into a crowd that's really rambunctious. They really like to get into things. This crowd loves to chant, loves to be entertained. If they aren't entertained, they'll likely entertain themselves. It can be a little scary, nerve-wracking as a performer. I go out there and don't if I go out there and I don't entertain them, they will entertain themselves at my expense. I don't know if it's a fresh start. We're always constantly evolving and trying new things. I don't see it as a reboot or a reset. We made some changes, and I think those changes have been good. I'm excited about what the future holds. TNA and Spike situation, the comments on, I'm sure that both sides will come to some sort of agreement. In the end, whatever is going to be the best for both worlds will end up happening. I'm very optimistic that if we stay at Spike TV, it will be for the good, and if we end up leaving, we will make things work wherever we go. And he comments why he stopped using the asshole catchphrase. Because I was told to. We're trying to offer a little more of a family-friendly product. There's a lot of people that are turned off by bad language. It's something that I feel I don't need. It's just a word. My work speaks for itself. They could change my name tomorrow. I wouldn't care. I still go out there and work my butt off and make the most of it. And that concluded his interview highlights. Noted that there was a new wrestler being teased by TNA is none other than a woman wrestler, Jessica Havoc. A leaked photo from the TNA program has surfaced online. I do have it. If I can get it uploaded in the video, I'll put it in the video. It lists her finisher as Air Raid Crash, and her Twitter handle is @HavocTNA. That account is registered but not being used yet. Havoc spoiler pick, like I said, will be at the end of the video. If TNA taped everything in order this week, Havoc will be debuting on September 11th episode by attacking Gail Kim and Tara Terrell. She will appear again at the September 18th episode by interrupting the Knockouts calendar cover reveal. Havoc makes her in-ring debut on September 25th at No Surrender episode in a Knockouts Battle Royal to determine the #1 contender. This wasn't announced at the tapings, but it appears that they're building Havoc versus Gail Kim for the Knockouts title at Bound for Glory. It was also noted by correspondents that Havoc was already over in a big way, at least with the New York City crowd at last week's tapings. Full list of participants for TNA's British Boot Camp on August the 16th in London. Of course, most of these are indie fan wrestlers, but this is in British. Rampage Brown, Dave Mastiff, Noam Dar, Martin Stone, Joel Redman, Mark Andrews, Shah Samuels, El Ligero, Tiger Ali, RJ Singh, Chucky Cyrus, Alex Cyanide, Josh Bodum, Matt Fox, Joe Vega, John Harding, Rory Bailey, Evan Sarvin, Kevin Lloyd, Jack Gallagher, Amish Campbell, hope I got that name spelled Hamish, the Fabulous Bakewells, I guess that's a tag team, they go together, Richard Parliament, Sebastian Radclaw, the Nordic Warrior, Pastor William Ever, Sam Smitten Downs, Joseph Connors, Bulk and Karn, I guess that's another tag team, Johnny Rock, Bull Duffy, Pyro, Priscilla, Chris Travis, and the females. Well, I guess this Priscilla is I guess that's supposed to be a female. Okay, well, females that are involved in British boot camp is Scarlett, Lana Austin, Melanie Price, the Owen twins, Heather Schofield, Miss Louise Jane, Kaylee Ray, and Nikki Storm. Between the Ropes interview with Jeff Hardy highlights, conducted by Brian Fritz, available at BetweenTheRopes.com. Comments on whether or not he is worried that he wouldn't get one more chance with TNA a few years ago, following his personal problems. Oh yeah, definitely. It was a dark, depressing time in my life. After Victory Road 2011 was real, it was a sad time for me because they could have easily fired me and let me go. As far as them giving me a second chance and letting me prove myself, TNA saved me. They saved my life pretty much. His thoughts on the talk that Spike TV will not renew Impact Wrestling once the current deal expires. I just hear that negotiations are ongoing. People have their doubts, but me, I'm the type of guy that, I have faith in TNA wherever we end up. I have faith that, a year from now, we're still going to be on Spike. I don't read Twitter timelines. I don't follow the social network at all, so I don't know. I feel good about being in TNA as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to be on Spike this time next year. And any comments on if he would like to finish up his career with a return to WWE like Kurt Angle, and said he wants to do. From time to time, I'll turn on Raw. I'd be lying if I said I didn't miss the WWE Universe, because the crowds I want. When I watch, it turns a little bit. I'm going, oh man, that's my creatures, man, my fans. They supported me so much, and even on Instagram posts, it's all of it I ever see. Go back to WWE. You should come back. It's never forever. It's just for now. I mean, ultimately, when the time is right, who knows? But I started there, and whether it's 10, 15 years down the road, I would like to end there. Other topics including teaming with his brother again, and if he thought it would ever happen again, the atmosphere in New York City for the recent TNA tapings, including for this event, where he is right now in his life, both personally and professionally, why 2012 was such a great year for him. If he thought he would get another chance with the company after his personal issues, the Willow character coming to TNA, and if we will see it again, being an artist and also using that in wrestling. The report that Spike TV will not be renewing Impact Wrestling once the current deal expires. Still wrestling at the age of 36. If he would like to finish his career in the WWE. Also talks about his band Peroxy Wygen doing yard work and his huge amount of land and more. MMA star Quentin Rampage Jackson told the Fight Nerd that he has no plan to ever return to TNA Wrestling. As soon as I went there and I saw how they ran things and what they were doing, there were no plans for me to go back, as Jackson said. They have a lot of momentum with me. When I came out with Kurt Angle, I was supposed to wrestle Kurt and do this, and they just lost all momentum. They didn't utilize me in any way. I gave them a couple ideas on how to utilize me, and they wanted me to wrestle professional fighters in pro wrestling. I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. They just had what they were doing, in my opinion, so no, you won't be seeing me in TNA ever again. The full interview can be viewed at on YouTube as well. Jackson went on to say that he met a lot of cool people in the locker room, but he saw the writing on the wall regarding the overall company. Jackson added that he has interest in doing more in pro wrestling, and said that he and Chavo Guerrero have some more ideas of their own. August the 11th news, TNA is selling just 86 pieces of the table that Dixie Carter went through on last Thursday's episode of Impact Wrestling. and the cost is only not $9.99. It's $199.99. Item also includes photos, a letter of authenticity, and a piece of the canvas. And there's a video link. I'm going to post for that. It's the actual ad. Former WWE employee Raphael Morphy, who has been working as TNA's senior director of live events, has given his notice to the TNA company. He will be leaving the next few weeks for a top executive position with the New York Cosmos soccer team. Morphy's departure is said to be completely amicable, and he's open to working with them when he can in the future. Morphy was responsible for landing TNA several big media appearances to promote both sets of TNA tapings in New York City this year, and he was credited with some of the success of the first set of tapings. Jamie Sharp, who has worked as TNA's production chief engineer since 2008, also gave his notice to TNA officials. Sharp will be leaving soon to work for another company in Nashville. TNA announced the following. UK fans, get ready. TNA announces fan interaction packages for Maximum Impact 7 tour, along with the names of more international wrestling superstars who will be competing on the events in Glasgow, Manchester, and London. Extra gate seats, which were previously held off, are now being made available. TNA World Heavyweight Champion Bobby Lashley will be making his first appearance ever in the United Kingdom as an Impact Wrestling superstar at the January 2015 show. So, with that being known, doesn't say that he's going to be champion, he just says he's going to be there. And here's some more names that are apparently on the cards for there. MVP, Taryn Terrell, The Beautiful People, Kenny King, also been added to the tour roster. Already featured Samoa Joe, Gail Kim, Bully Ray, Magnus, James Storm, Bobby Roode, Mr. Anderson, Eric Young, Gunner, Abyss, EC3, Tiger Uno, and Rockstar Spud. Guess what? No Jeff Hardy, no Matt Hardy, no Wolves, yada yada yada. But that's the Wolves' home country, England. And another major announcement. TNA confirmed that the company's trademark six-sided ring will also be used on the Maximum Impact Tour events. The first time ever. It will be seen in Britain since 2010. As TNA President Dixie Carter said, Maximum Impact Tour is a highlight of the year for TNA superstars who travel to these big events and meet the incredible fans. With an unmatched fan interaction experience, a roster of the best professional wrestlers in the world, and the return of the six-sided ring, the show scheduled for the 2015 Maximum Impact Tour will be our best yet. Fan interaction tickets for the January 2015 tour go on sale Friday, August 15th, which are all on sale this Friday at 10 a.m., along with extra great seats, and allow fans to meet some of their favorite wrestlers before the event. But normally, those are meet and greet seats only for ringside seats only. You buy the ringside seats, meet and greet is free. That's how they run it in TNA here. The strictly limited meet and greet passes are available for all three shows. That cost £35 plus booking fees. Those purchasing fan interaction tickets must also have a regular event ticket sold separately in order to gain access. So therefore they've explained a little bit more differently there. But when you go to live events, get there about an hour early. You get in and meet the wrestlers before the show even starts. And you get to sign autographs with them backstage, because that's how they run it. Okay, Maximum Impact Tour sees TNA visit Glasgow January 29th, Manchester January 30th, before accumulating a huge double TV taping and Ultimate X match in London on January 31st. Bobby Lashley said, "This will be my first time wrestling in the UK for TNA, and I can promise you I'm more than ready The bigger question is whether the UK is ready for Bobby Lashley. Tara Terrell added, I'm so happy to be on the tour. I, alongside fellow knockouts, Gail Kim, and beautiful people, look forward to bringing the rowdy UK fans to the best women's wrestling in the world and delivering some memorable matches. And I'll post the links available for the tickets, of course, on Facebook.com/TNA Wrestling UK. And some more. gigsandtours.com/go/TNA 2015 GEN. And also Ticketmaster.com. Full details UK events are on the Glasgow event. You go to thehydro.com. You can see where they have advertised for the card. Friday, January 30th, you can go to phonesforyouarena.co.uk. And on Saturday, January 31st, London SSE Arena in Wembley. You can go to ssearena.co.uk. TNA Impact Wrestling is broadcast on Challenge in the UK, in Ireland, and in Ireland every Sunday at 9 p.m. So I gave wrong info. I was thinking Saturday. As well as Spike TV in the USA and more than 120 other countries. TNA Knockout Rebel, aka Tania Brooks, revealed that she had suffered a broken arm during the Battle Royal that was taped last week for the future edition of Impact. And you can read the announcement on her Twitter account, twitter.com/RebelTNA. She also noted in the tweet that she took a spill on the stairs that caused the fracture. She also has a big bruise on the side of her leg. She has spent more time in the corner than actually wrestling. So I assume she will still be able to appear as part of the menagerie. And now for your spoilers. Taped on August the 5th. From New York, at the Manhattan Center, report by Kyle Petrano, who's a pro wrestling net reader. Match number 1, Gail Kim defeated Angelina Love. 2, Tajiri defeated Robbie E. Kurt Angle delivered a promo. MVP interrupted with a promo of his own, with Tommy Dreamer interrupted with a promo of his own. Match number 3, Lashley defeated Tommy Dreamer in a New York City street fight. Great heat that grew on that. So that, I guess that announcement got that match. Match number 4, Low Key, Crazy Steve and Tiger Uno defeated Homicide, DJZ, and Manic. I guess that was a X Division match. All of your X Division stars were in it. Match number 5, Rhino defeated EC3 by disqualification. EC3 was disqualified for using chairs. Rockstar Spud was the best part of the match. Chris Melendez was then introduced and he was welcomed to the TNA by Mr. Anderson, Team 3D, and Kurt Angle. And Team 3D then had a match against the Wolves and Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy. They're having a series where the team that wins 2 matches first wins the TNA tag titles. With Team 3D having the first win, the next stipulation match will be a tables match. And they taped explosive matches, 2 matches. I had Tiger Uno defeating Crazy Steve, which was an entertaining match. Match number 2 saw Gail Kim defeated Angelina Love, Velvet Sky, and Tara Terrell in a very good high-energy fatal 4-way match that I recommend watching, according to the reporter. And the crowd was it wasn't packed, so it wasn't sold out. And they're moving people up to the better seats to fill them in. Up to better seats. If you're ringside, there are the better seats. Bobby Roode and Eric Young kick off a show with an in-ring promo about how the cage match ended last week. Tara Terrell defeated Madison Rayne in what was said to be a bad match. War hero Chris Melendez came out to a nice pop. He wins the debut match over DJ Zema Ion with a side slam. Melendez looked green, but that was expected. He got a nice pop, and a We the People chant started at one point. Jane Storm came out and introduced Sonata, who had a new look. I think I have a picture of it, and I'll post that at the end of the videos. Any pictures that I have will be posted at my videos while I'm on a different computer, because my other computer kind of the keys were sticking, and won't let me on. Well, he created the Great Sonata. A shot at the Great Muda. Sonata versus Austin Aries was next. Sonata won the match with the miss to the face and a kick like Muda. Young versus Rude in a #1 contenders match will take place on next week's episode. Taping tonight. They had to clean the mist from Sonata off the ring. Bobby Lashley, Kenny King, and MVP came to the ring. They talked trash about New York City. Samoa Joe interrupted to a big pop and set up Joe versus Lashley. Joe gets beat down until security broke it up. Next match was Menagerie defeating Robbie E and Jesse Gutters in an explosive match earlier. Zima Ion versus Manic versus Tiger Uno versus Homicide versus Crazy Steve versus Low Key. And the #1 contenders match was up next. Homicide got the win. After the match, Storm and Sonata came in. Sonata kicked Manic, and they dragged him off to the back. Ethan Cutter III and Rockstar Spud came out. They cut a promo until Rhino interrupted and attacked Ethan, setting up a match for later. Well, if they took Manic to the back, well, I guess that's going to end up in his character. And then ending of the taping saw the Rude versus Young #1 contenders match was next. Well, I didn't get any more reports for that. Well, okay. Hardcore Justice taping. They tape things out of order, so it's rough tough to see how the things went on. Explosive match. Tiger Uno defeated Crazy Steve with La Magistral. Impact date unknown for the thing. I guess whatever. TNA Knockout Champ Gail Kim won a fatal 4-way over Taryn Terrell. Velvet Sky and Angelina Love. Highlight with Terrell doing the dive off the top to the floor on all three. Crowd chanted better than Divas during the match. Hardcore Justice event. Bram defeated Abyss in the Stairway to Hell, the Stairway to Janice match, which was a ladder match with weapons. They had barbed wire boards, tables, trash cans, and a chair wrapped in barbed wire, and more. Bram was busted open early. Bram went for Janice, but was chokeslammed off the ladder. Abyss brought thumbtacks into the equation. Abyss sent Bram face first into a barbed wire board in one of the corners. Abyss climbed the ladder, but Bram shoved him off, and Abyss was sent off into another barbed wire board. Bram retrieved Janice, but before he could use it, he was hit with a black hole slam into the tacks. Abyss grabbed the board, but Bram kicked him in the nuts and then nailed him with Janice and pinned him. EC3, Rockstar Spud, and Rhino came to the ring. He was upset that the fans liked that Dixie Cutter was put to the table. He said that he was thankful that Kurt Angle had him arrested because he had a moment of clarity and realized what happened was all Rhino's fault. He ripped into Rhino and told him he was looking at a dead man and a bitch. If he keeps talking, Rhino told him to shove his money up his ass. EC3 slapped him. EC3 attacked him and tossed him into the railing. Then beat him down in the ring. Spud tried to stop it but was shoved down. EC3 laid out Rhino and then left alone. Spud left alone as well, not knowing what to make of what happened. Good mic work from all three of them involved. X Division champion Samoa Joe pinned Low Key with a muscle buster. Very good stiff match. I Quit match with Mr. Anderson versus Samuel Shaw. They brawled out onto the stage. Gunner came to ringside, upset over the situation. Anderson made him tap with an armbar. Anderson and Gunner went nose to nose after the match. Next match, we had the Hardy Boys coming out. Jeff Hardy said that they reunited because it was the right place and the right time, and the fans wanted them back together. He said that they've had some great matches against some great teams, but they have to do better. And they say they have an idea on how to take things to the next level, and invited 3D to come down, as they did. Bully Ray said that they were guys who put Dixie through a table. Ray said that they have created history together, and they are two of the best tag teams in history. Ray said he knows they are on a mission to become the TNA tag teams, but it would also be kind of cool if they went into the Hall of Fame as champs. He called out the Wolves. Eddie Edwards said they were two of the greatest tag teams in the history of the business, and that's what they want to be. Richard said if they want a shot at the belts, they can have it at any time, anywhere. 6 sides of steel to determine number one contender for the TNA Championship. MVP cut a good promo before, saying whoever wins has already lost because Bobby Lashley is at the top of the food chain. Austin Aries versus Eric Young versus Gunner versus Magnus versus James Storm versus Bobby Roode. Good match with a lot of brawling in the cage. Young and Roode both climbed over at the same time and landed at the same time on the story. Although in reality, Young easily won. Referees argued over who won, so it was left in controversy. Last woman standing match, Gail Kim beat Angelina Love. A cookie sheet was used and they brawled around ringside. Kim was slammed face first into the ring steps. After Velvet Sky interfered, Kim came back with a ring post figure 4, but Sky kicked her in the face. Kim went to use a chair on the ramp, but Love kicked her with a Yakuza kick. They battled back into the ring and onto the top rope. Kim gave her Samoan drop off the top rope on a chair, and Love was counted out. Debuting Yoshihiro Tajiri pinned Robbie E. Kurt Angle cut a promo on the balcony welcoming everyone to TNA and said he put together a show that won't disappoint. He said that due to photo finish, there is no number one contender. So I guess at the taping, that was the end of the taping for that pay-per-view, whatever, on Impact. What I call it, Impact, Hardcore Justice, whatever you want to call it. So this starts off another week. Cut the promo, put together a show that won't disappoint. He said that due to a photo finish, there was no number one contender, so we've got another match. There was no number one contender, but yet he sits down with Bobby Roode and Eric Young to hash it out. They'll have an announcement. MVP Bobby Lashley and Kenny King come to the ring. MVP says he has lost so much respect for Angle for his pandering to all the New York City losers. MVP began ripping on NYC for having no class or dignity. He said if anyone wants to act tough, he could call the NYPD to give out choke slams. He declared Lashley the king of New York City. Out came Tommy Dreamer to cut a promo on each of them. They cut Dreamer off and they beat him down and tossed him out of the ring. Dreamer pulled out a Singapore cane, returned to the ring. Angle declared that he would have a New York City street fight. So we got Dreamer versus Lashley. Lashley controlled Dreamer, who made a comeback with weapon shots. It wasn't announced for the title, so then Lashley cut him off with a belly suplex on the ramp, with Dreamer landing roughly on the corner. Lashley trashed Dreamer on the floor, then continued in the ring. Kenny King nailed Dreamer and held him for a spear, but Dreamer moved and King was knocked off the apron. Dreamer creamed Lashley with a trash can shots, and a DDT for a 2 count. He was caught coming off the ropes and speared for the win. Next match, they had Low Key and Crazy Steve and Tiger Uno defeating Homicide, Manic, and Homicide. Well, how can you have Homicide and Homicide? Whoever their partner was a Homicide and Manic. Good athletic 6-man tag is Low Key pinned Manic with the Key Crusher. Rhino then defeated EC3 by disqualification when he nailed Rhino with a chair. And then they reintroduced Chris Melendez, brought Team 3D out. This is more detailed a little bit from earlier. Welcomed him, came to his army. He came out in his army uniform. Angle cut a promo and said that this gold medal pales in comparison to what Melendez has done for his company. Anderson and 3D cut promos as well, putting him over. And they built Melendez up in a good way. Team 3D versus the Wolves versus the Hardys. They announced this is a match of a series. A great match with tons of high spots. For winning, the winners get to name the next stipulation was a table match. I've already gave you results, so I'm not going to give that again. It's the same exact results. Impact. That was taped on August the 6th. For September tapings. Again by Vincent. This one is by Vincent Campisi Jr. Also a reader from ProWrestling.net. The venue is smaller than Impact Zone in Florida. The show was advertised as sold out, but it was not even close to being sold out. No one else was even in his row. Jerry Ramirez came out to pump up the crowd. Then they taped an explosion match with Bromance with DJ Zima beating the Freak and Nux. Bromance won after DJ Z interfered in a chop block on the Freak by Robbie E. So it was a 6-man tag. And then we only got one match taped for Explosion for that one. Impact taping. Bobby Roode to start off Impact. Come out to a huge ovation and Bobby chant. He said he fought in a cage to a no clear winner, and Angle has decided that now next week it will be himself against EY, and he called EY to the ring. EY came out to an even bigger pop as Roode spoke about their history and their match last week. He put over EY and how much he's honored to fight him. EY said it's fate that has happened. He said he's always asked who the best in the business is, and his answer is Bobby Roode. After about a 5-minute deafening CM Punk chant, CM Punk said that Bobby said that there is nothing else to do but to tear the roof off of this biatch. As EY made his exit, Boris came out and said this match is now tonight. Match number 1, Terrence Terrell defeated Madison Rain. There was a big "We Want Puppies" chant. There was also a huge clothesline botch by Taryn on Madison. Lots of close calls. Taryn won with a running cutter. must have been the running RKO. Match number 2, Chris Melendez defeated DJ Zima. Huge USA chants as DJ kicked Melendez in an artificial leg. DJ controlled early as antagonist. Melendez won with a sidewalk slam. The ending was botched as DJ Z kicked out of the Hebner's count at 2, but I'm sure they fixed it. They'll fix it in post-production. Match number 3, Sonata with James Storm defeating Austin Aries. James Storm introduced Sonata. A really good match. Sonata won with a super kick to Aries' head after Storm interfered and knocked Aries off the top rope. Sonata spat green mist into Aries' face. MVP Bobby Lashley and Kenny King were out next. And they cut down New York City again, put over Lashley. Samoa Joe came out and Joe's going to get you. Chant started. As Joe said, he's the toughest man in the world and in the ring. Joe hit Kenny and the brawl started. Security broke it up. Match number 4. Homicide defeated Super Crazy. Yeah, Super Crazy. I thought Super Crazy had announced his retirement several months ago. Well, he beat Super Crazy, DJ Z, Low Key, Manic, and Tiger Uno to become the number 1 contender to the X Division title. Homicide won a spot fest with a Gringo Killer. After the match, James Storm and Sonata came out and dragged Manic away. Well, that's the same result from earlier. EC3 came out with Rockstar's Budge. The boring "what you can't wrestle" chant was started so loud that we couldn't even hear what he was saying. He kept laying down every time there was a boring chant. He was interrupted by Rhino, who cleared the ring. Rhino said he wanted a match with EC3, and EC3 said he'll grant him a match with Spud. Okay, Bobby Roode defeated Eric Young to become the number 1 contender to the TNA title. Young came out in New York Rangers themed gear. Great match, lost a close 2 counts. Rude won with a Rude bomb. They shook hands after the match. Match number 6, Bram and Magnus defeated Sam Shaw and Gunner. There was a cool spot where Bram slammed Gunner's head into the corner, and Gunner kept on slamming his own head. Bram got the pin after a chop block to Gunner's knee and then holding the tights. After the match, Shaw went to beat up the ref, but Gunner stopped him. Match number 7, Gail Kim defeated Taryn Terrell to retain the TNA Knockouts Championship. Another We Want Puppies chant. Gail hit a Hurricanrana off the top rope. Gail went for the shoulder tackle in the corner. Missed through the ropes. Gail hit a neck breaker on the stairs to get the huge holy shit chant. And a Better Than Divas chant. Gail went for the eat the feet, and Terry countered for a 2 count. Gail won when she countered a crossbody off the top rope into a roll up. And they shook hands after the match. Jessica Havoc came out in a crazy gear with a Bane type mask and laid out Taryn and Gail with a Samoan drop afterwards and left and chokeslammed them and left. She looked like a great monster heel. During a break, Jeremy Boras said TNA is done in Orlando. Austin Aries was out next to a big pop. He called out Jay Storm. Storm said he is not just Sonata, but now the great Sonata, and he will be the best to ever come out of Japan. Aries called Storm a legendary asshole. Aries said that they're marked men, and he didn't come alone to fight. He brought company. Tajiri came out to help Aries clear the ring. Match number 8, Rhino defeated Rockstar Spud, of course. There we go. There would have been some interference and some more stuff. Rhino basically squashed Spud at one point. Spud got a garbage can from the outside and brought it in the ring. But when he got in, Rhino hit him with a gore, and EC3 was very stoic and walked to the back only to watch Rhino hit Spud with another gore. And Rhino left carrying Spud to the back. Match number 9 of the taping. Lashley defeated Samoa Joe in a champion versus champion match. Joe met Lashley outside the ring. Joe dominated early with some big moves, including a Pele kick in the corner. Lashley came back and started to dominate and play to the crowd. Kenny King came out to interfere, but Joe threw him from top rope. Lashley hit the spear for the win. Match number 10. Mr. Anderson defeated Magnus. Anderson entered to a big pop. Magnus got the upper hand and mocked Anderson. Anderson went to slide a baseball kick. Magnus on the outside, and Magnus pulled the apron to trap Anderson and pummeled him a little. Back inside the ring, Magnus had the upper hand. After some back and forth action, Anderson delivers a mic check for the win. Match number 11, MVP defeated Low Key. Very slow match with a lot of back and forth action and a lot of chops. MVP mocked Low Key, who had a cool counter where he jumped over MVP and kicked him in the back. MVP to the outside as Low Key hit a cool crossbody off the top rope. MVP got the win with a player's boot. I guess they don't know, the reporter don't know. That's called the drive-by. Match number 12, Matt and Jeff Hardy defeated the Wolves and Team 3D in a 3-way tables match. Well, awesome match. The Two Goods right in the interview. The Hardy won with Jeff hitting a swanton off the top rope onto Eddie Edwards on a table on the outside. After the match, Hardy's named the next match in the tag title series a ladder match, and it stayed ringside to sign autographs to send everyone happy. And now, for the No Surrender, spoilers from the New York City tapings. Thanks to Nate Great, who has posted some great results in the past from other events. Here's what he states for the last day of tapings, which was the No Surrender, which is September 25th. MVP kicked off the show with Kenny King and Bobby Lashley. He cuts a promo and calls out Chris Melendez to join their group as their bag boy. He turned the offer down, and King cut a promo on him, making fun of his prosthetic leg. So that sets up a match with them two. Chris Melendez defeated Kenny King, but got beat down after the match. And Mr. Anderson made a save. A knockouts battle royal with Jessica Havoc, Madison Rain, Rebel, Taryn Terrell, Brittany, Velvet Sky, and Angelina Love was up first. Havoc dominated and won after eliminating Velvet Sky in the final. That's the final one. As Havoc is over already. And don't forget, I think from the personal report from Rebel, she's out of wrestling action. Next up, we had Bobby Roode versus Bobby Lashley for the World Heavyweight title. That was up next. Lashley got the win with a decent match as MVP was ordered to the back after interfering at one point. So, Bobby Lashley is still your champion. Abyss defeated Sam Shaw. Samoa Joe defeated Homicide with the X Division title on the line. After the match, James Storm, Sonata, and Manic attacked. Manic has new ring gear and a new mask after he was taken away by Storm and Sonata last week. Storm and friends triple team and destroy them. Next match had Magnus defeat the Freak in a match for Explosion. And then Tajiri versus MVP versus Austin Aries versus Mr. Anderson versus Abyss in a random match was up next. Aries got the win from that match. And the last match that was taped, Low Key defeated DJ Z. Eon. Sorry about that, Zima. Sometimes he reads my watching my videos too. And thanks again. Peace out. God bless. See you, what I want to be. If you didn't know, you better call me, bro.